Yo, welcome in everybody. My name is Sweet Phil. Today, I'm just going to give you my opinions on things in Diablo 4. It's going to be incredibly informal. I'm just going to take a look at things here and there and just be like, hey, this is what I like and this is what I don't, all right? So first of all, we'll just jump into the graphics. I think it looks pretty darn good. Very mixed reviews from people in stream talking on chat. Some people hate it, some people don't. I think it looks pretty darn good. When you're zoomed out like that anyways from that third-person perspective, you can't really get a great glimpse of every single aspect in detail. But when you get into the cutscenes that are like the in-game graphics and engine, then you can really get a look at it. And I think it looks pretty darn good. That's just my opinion on that. It's not too fanciful, not too colorful, and whatnot like that. Graphics, green check, pretty darn good. Jumping in the audio, this is probably one of the best aspects and something coming in the game I didn't even really think about, to be perfectly honest. I guess in a lot of games, it's one of those things that's either a pass-fail type situation, or like when I play Diablo 2, I usually have music blasting in the background because I love that rock and metal, right? So I don't even really think about the audio, but it's kind of iconically known for great background music in Diablo 2. Now, some of the music in Diablo 4 I think is absolutely amazing, atmospherical type of music, and also the sound of your weapons just absolutely bashing in the brains of demons is pretty darn cool, I think. I think they really nailed the audio in Diablo 4. Green check. Now, the most important part to this game, obviously, how does the gameplay feel? This is what you're going to be doing all the time. This is why we came here, fellas. Now, the gameplay in Diablo 4, it feels like a solid B to me, we'll call it. It's pretty darn good. Obviously, I love Diablo 2 the way that it is. This is not exactly like Diablo 2, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. What it does remind me of, and I know people are going to shudder and cringe when I say this, it reminds me of the Diablo Immortal gameplay. Now, I haven't played a ton of other games. Some people said it reminds them a lot of D3, PoE, different things like that. For me, what I played most recently that this gives me vibes of is Diablo Immortal. I'm not talking about the monetization. I'm talking about clicking buttons, hitting monsters. I didn't think Diablo Immortal was bad. I thought it was fun to play, pretty simple. And I think Diablo 4 is pretty much identical to that. Now, how the in-game UI looks when you're in your inventory screen, you got your items and all the good things like that, I don't really like it that much. Obviously, coming from Diablo 2, where your items actually have some sort of space, some sort of feel to them, because an item that's bigger is bigger, an item that's smaller is smaller. You see where I'm going here? But in Diablo 4, a ring that you're wearing, literally, it's the same size as a giant mace that you're bashing demon brains in with. So even though nobody really likes the item Tetris in your inventory type of situation, I just think that it brings a lot better feel to the whole system in general for weapons and armor and stuff when things actually have their own size. On top of that, the pictures of the items, they're just so incredibly small. I guess they're going a lot heavier into customizing each individual piece of gear that when you throw it on. So that's where you're kind of supposed to look at the gear, not the actual picture of the gear. But I think there's a little bit of a missed opportunity there to really give a better feel to each and every item. Kind of down the same lines of UI stuff, we're talking about the skill tree and different things like that. Now, the skill tree seems fine. It seems super simplistic, and there's not really much motivation, at least in this beta for sure, for the first 20 or so levels to put more than one skill point into literally anything. The damage scaling or the extra duration and things like that doesn't really do a whole lot. You're jumping from like 25 damage to like 27 damage. I found it a lot better, and I really hurt myself early on focusing too much on each individual skill, thinking I was pumping up the damage a little bit would help out more, but it really didn't. I was better off going across some more variety of skills so that in all different types of situations, I had skills for those situations. So that could be a little bit on just my fault, not fully looking into everything I was putting my points into, I suppose. But the skill tree, it seemed a little bit overly simplistic, to be perfectly honest. Just a bunch of one-point wonders. I do understand you're trying to toe a really fine line there between, the new players coming in not having any struggle understanding it, and someone coming from Diablo 2 where you got to pump a bunch of points into this skill to get damage out of it. You got to pump a bunch of points into the synergies to get more damage out of stuff. So really, you aren't pumping points. You're just putting one here and one there. Now, as for the world boss battle, I could barely catch one of them, and I almost ended up being late for a birthday party, to be perfectly honest. And that's one thing that I don't like about these type of things. There's going to be a huge FOMO aspect to these world bosses, and it's intended They're trying to get you to play the game when you don't want to. There's nothing that bugs me more than a game that tries to get me to avoid real life because I have to play the game right now. It's one of the main things in Diablo 2 why I don't like Terror Zone. Hey, you finally got a good Terror Zone to pop up at a time when you're actually home from work. Are you going to take your daughter to the park? Or are you going to go sit and play because it's finally the terrorized cow level? I don't know the exact mechanic for the world bosses, how it's going to be, but they're definitely leaning in hard to the FOMO aspect. You better not miss out. And the thing is about this world boss, you actually probably almost have to do this, especially with a barbarian. If you miss this, you literally are going to lose half of your damage. Before this world boss, I was struggling to kill some of these end dungeon bosses. I was only lower level, so I really didn't even help out the boss fight that much. Sorry people, but thank you so much for carrying me. When I got the loot from it, my damage and survivability doubled, if not tripled. I kid you not. The barbarian at least was incredibly gear dependent. And as for the actual boss fight, I'm not a big fan of the whole zoom out, you see the different people running around. It really made it feel incredibly clunky when you're this big on the screen and you got a boss just swinging his arms everywhere. It really didn't feel that special to me, to be perfectly honest. The main thing I got out of the boss battle was, to be honest, I really didn't like it because it was forcing me to play when I didn't want to play. What that's going to do for me in the long term for this game, it's going to turn me off. And if there's a bunch of things like that in this game where you have to play now when they say you have to play, or you're going to fall way behind, or you're just not going to get the gear that you literally need to keep playing the game, I'm honestly going to stop playing. So I'm going to nail something just like this is one of the most negative things in my opinion, not just the world boss, but anything in Diablo 4 that's trying to make me play when I don't want to. We'll slide into another one here, and you notice I'm hitting a few negatives here at the end of the video. That's just kind of the way it worked out. But the dungeons, they're very meh. It doesn't really, once again, feel anything special or crazy. Go down, kill everything in the dungeon, fight the dungeon boss. Go down in the dungeon, fight the stuff until you grab a thing, fight the dungeon boss. This is just an open beta in the Act 1, so we'll see how things go later on in the game, obviously. And it's not necessarily a huge negative, but the dungeons, the best word I can describe it for them is just meh. One thing that really was kind of weird about the dungeons, I did like 5 or 6 of them in a row. I got the same dungeon boss every single time. I was thinking there was going to be more variety. Some people said, oh, this dungeon's going to be this guy. Oh, I bet you this dungeon you're going to get this guy. Laughing, thinking I'm going to get my butt kicked or whatever. And I got the same person just every single time. So I don't know how that's going to necessarily continue, but if that's how it is, there's not really much variety in these dungeons. It is just beta after all, so we'll have to see. But that's going to be quite a negative. Now I'm sliding one more quick negative here at the end, and that is actually the cutscenes. Now, I did just mention earlier how good the cutscenes look, but also with that, there's just way too many of them. I watched the first few, and I probably spent like an hour of the early access open beta watching these cutscenes until I want to play the game. There's people always talking. Yeah, you can skip everything that they're saying, but that's what I just ended up doing. The cutscenes, the people talking, I don't ever listen or watch any of it anymore. It's every minute or two, there's another person talking. There's another cutscene. It was honestly a good thing that there is about Diablo 2. You don't have to watch this crap. The text pops up. If you're going to read it, you read it. If you don't, you don't. And that's pretty much what I ended up doing. I just don't read any of it. So I guess it is a negative, but it don't matter because I can just go ahead and skip it anyways. But I will mention it really was quite interruptive to the gameplay experience, always having all this talking. So what did I think of it overall? I'm going to kind of do it on a letter scale, and I'm going to go ahead and put Diablo 4 probably around a C, right in the middle, because a lot of the stuff I thought was going to be good was pretty good, or it wasn't super important to the game, but it ended up being better than expected, such as the audio. And a lot of the stuff I really didn't think was going to be not that great, really wasn't that great. Maybe part of it was because of how my expectations came in. They weren't super high, but I thought the game was going to be pretty good, and I feel like it essentially lived up to those expectations. Now, could I see this game completely taking over and making me not want to play Diablo 2 anymore? Unless a lot changes with this game, I could not necessarily see in that. But I could see myself having a lot of fun with this game for a little bit. So let me know your opinions down in the comments. Do you think this game's going to be great and just overtake all other games in the entire world? Or do you think it's going to be absolute dog doo-doo? Love to hear from you. Peace out, fellas. Hit the like button and subscribe before you go. And keep slaying.